Gautam, Gambhir, Ian Bell. Ian, firstly, I'd like to apologize because you were only supposed to join us at the end of the day's play. Have we pulled you out of a party? Because I'm sure you weren't expecting this early and finish.
Oh no, it's happy days. It's homeschooling still at the moment in the UK, so that's brilliant. The longer you keep me, the better.
Could you put it into words what you've just witnessed? I'm struggling to.
To be honest, I'm tired just watching it. I feel, and I haven't even played. Just sat on a couch watching it, which it's just been intense, hasn't it? But yeah, it's like England. They fought back incredibly well this morning. They showed a lot of, as we said, they're going to have to, after a bad day, certainly day one, they had to dust themselves down and come back, and then they fought back really well. But just don't have the firepower, certainly on a pitch like that with the way it's turning and, playing spin in general, they just didn't have enough. And they'll probably be looking back again at that first innings. And again, if they could have even just somehow got to 180, 190, that's where, again, that first innings, not just getting probably enough. We're not asking for 500. Incredibly tough conditions. You're outstanding with the ball. England just probably looking back. What they will do, they'll look back at those little things that they could have done a bit better. And in general, India were much, much better in this game.
You briefly mentioned the pitch there, and me and Gautam had a longish discussion in the supper show. So I'll first get your point of view on this one. We're getting a few comments there. I was just reading. Graham Fong goes on to say that this, even though he's a spinner and he likes to see pitches that help spinner, this one was helping the spinners a little too much. This is what Swanee had to say. Sanjay Manjrekar says on Twitter that, now we've reached a stage where I'm expecting a wicket to fall even before a ball is bowled. What were your impressions of what we saw on day two as far as the pitch is concerned?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously very tough, isn't it? This one where, again, maybe natural variation was just so big, wasn't it? Axar Patel, who was outstanding, absolutely brilliant, but the fact that, he was skidding them on one ball, trying to bowl exactly the same ball, and it would turn square the next, that makes it particularly hard to play. But it was the same for both teams. I think England will probably look at that and go tactically, selection-wise as well, did they get it right? I think it took 41 overs to get Joe Root into the attack. And then he ends up getting 5 for 7, 41 overs. And that's, I think, 27 overs of seam bowling where India bowled 11. So tactically, then maybe we'll look back on that and maybe think they didn't get him in the game early enough. Whereas India, again, 11 overs of seam, that's all we've seen. So they didn't give any of those. And I think on a pitch like this where there's not going to be a lot of runs on offer, there were some big differences. So, yes, the pitch was tough. It is the same for both teams. But I think we've seen, again, that the spin department, there's quite a big difference in it. The pitch wasn't great. We certainly don't want to see test match cricket only lasting just over 5 sessions, which is not great. But I think India again were head and shoulders the better side, and England will they're just not scoring enough runs, unfortunately. And I know it wasn't a big scoring game, but they needed to score 150, 160 plus in that first innings.
Gautam, we spoke about the pitch, and you brought about how the English batsmen could have played better, and some of those things that they did against the spinner was unpardonable. But I'm now talking to you as a fan because of the comments also that we're getting. Fans would generally be disappointed to see a test match last just 5 sessions. You love to see a even contest between a bat and a ball, and that's something that cricket fans never got in this test.
See, ideally, you would want to have all the players involved in the test match. If you see from the fast bowlers' point of view, there was hardly any performances from the fast bowlers, and there was nothing for the fast bowlers, and that is what you want to see in test cricket. You want to see probably new ball doing something. You got to test the opening batsman with the swing and seam, and at the same time it should start turning from day 3, day 4, day 5. That is what ideal test cricket is all about. Good for batting on day 2 and day 3, but then that is how it is. I've already said this to you. Yes, we can keep debating about the wicket. We can keep talking about the wicket, but you can't miss a straight ball, as simple as it gets. If you miss a straight ball, you're always in trouble. Yes, it's difficult when Axar Patel is bowling. He himself, I'm sure, doesn't know which is going to spin, which is going to keep straight. But then you got to play for the straight ball. And honestly, if you ask me whether from the Indian batter's point of view or from the English batter's point of view, actually none of the batters got out because of the wicket. Yes, it's just probably if you keep thinking too much about it. If you see Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane, Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, all those guys, even those were probably bad shots, as simple as it gets. Shubman Gill pulling from outside the off stump, Virat Kohli trying to cut from the stumps, Ajinkya Rahane, Rohit Sharma, and even the English batters. If you see Best a straight delivery, Zach Crawley straight delivery. If you miss a straight one, or you will always be in trouble. It's just the lead up to that straight delivery which is probably very important, and that is why we say that it was a tough wicket, no doubt. It will. I'm not going to shy away from saying that it wasn't a tough wicket. It was a very tough wicket to start off. So it's just the lead up to that. Probably delivery, which actually beats you from the inside edge, is probably the problem. That's why we say the best time to face, or probably the best mindset to face, is probably having a blank mindset. Forget about what has happened in the past delivery, but it's easier said than done when you're playing against Ashwin and Aksar, and one starts spitting in from the good length spot. It starts jumping, bouncing. Suddenly you starts playing in your mind that how am I going to score runs, what am I going to do and stuff. But then English batters needs to look into the mirror and think about the skill sets as well. Probably the skill sets are not there, and there was a lot of panic as well. They made a fabulous comeback in the first session. They were the happier dressing room, I'm sure, but suddenly when you lose 2 wickets in the first over, there's again panic, and you start feeling that what's happening, what's not happening, because Zach Crawley and Johnny Bairstow, nothing happened off the wicket. It was just a straight ball. You miss a straight ball. So things can change very quickly in India, and we know that if you keep getting hit on the front pad, there will always be problem, because both these guys will look to target your pads.
Before I go to Ian, another word from you, Gautam. Most questions that were raised about the pitch, and I asked you a lot of them in our previous show, were down to what we saw in the first 2 sessions. Now what we saw in that chase that India came up with, both Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill kind of looked very, very good there. Has it answered some of those questions about the pitch?
I don't think so. See, when you're chasing 48, 49, you've got the freedom to go out there and play freely. And you should not judge only because India managed to win by 10 wickets. The thing is, had England had 150, 175 on the board, thing would have been very different. And when you're chasing 49, you know that you can actually look to take on the spinners, and obviously spinners will look to try and take wickets, as try and bowl those wicket-taking deliveries. So there will always be an opportunity. When you've got 175, you can actually play the holding job. You can play the holding role as well. And that is why when England had 112 on the board and India was 99 for 3, they still managed to get India all out for 140 odd. So runs on the board were very crucial. Probably England lost this test match after the first session. Then probably 10 minutes just before the first session, they were 74 for 2. Had they gone on to get to 200 or 220, which anyone would have expected them to, when Zach Crawley was batting on 50 plus and Joe Root was batting on 17 or 18, and suddenly you lose 2 wickets before the first session, and suddenly you're again on the back foot, and from there on only managed to get 112. So England actually lost the test match not only because of the wicket, they lost this test match because they couldn't put runs on the board. Had they got 170, 180 and they had the lead of 70 odd runs, they would have come out and played differently. Probably even if they could have got 100 odd, England would have been in this test match. So yes, when you win the toss, you got to take the most of it, because you know that things can change very quickly, and things do change very quickly in India.
Ian, thoughts on what Gautam pointed out about the skill set? You can blame the pitch all you want, but you need to take a hard look into the mirror and really question the skill sets.
Absolutely. I think we won the toss, which is what England wanted to do. You know, there's been a lot of build-up about this day-night test match. England were looking forward to it. Did they rotate in the second test? Looking forward to this. You just got to play what's in front of you. Win the day. Win the ball. As a batsman, you're always thinking about the ball that you're facing. That is it. And I think there's quite a bit of mental things that have certainly gone into the day for England. And probably the batting in this test match in general, still carrying some baggage from the test match before. But again, I don't think it's easy. I think we've talked about this rotation thing. I don't care who you are. Johnny Bairstow going home for 2 matches, not having a net, being in England, coming out, trying to play on a pitch like this. You know, you need to be in good form. You need to be practicing playing. You know, as a batsman, there's no better place than being out in the middle, scoring runs. That's where confidence comes from. So, you know, we've chopped and changed a lot in this series, and I don't think that's going to help. Certainly being 2-1 down, I don't think that's easy. When you're winning and you win a test match, you've got to keep going. You've got to be ruthless and go again to try and win 2-0. And I think England have been a little bit, and I get it, we're in a strange time in the world with bubbles and rotation, but if they're there, you've got to play best 11. So for me, Jimmy Anderson should have played that second test match. You know, you've got to be out there, try and go 2-0, but we've been a little bit, again, looking too far ahead, planning for this day-night test match. All of a sudden it's a turner. So there's a few things I think that, again, we have to accept that we've probably got wrong, but also some stuff that's tough as well. And I know what it feels like. I've been there. I've been an English batsman in Indian conditions where it's hard and you lose and you're scratching your head to find a way. I think so the young players will become better players for this experience. But I think it's been pretty tough. Some things that we could have controlled, but also some things that have been out of our control.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content plus live streaming, make sure to subscribe to ESPN Player.